hey, no, it's fun, man. It's fun. Have a lot of things planned for high stuff trading, like you know what I mean, like
Hmm.
faster trading in a way. And I
Hmm.
think we're going very close to that moment in time to actually do a lot of scalping. And scalping
Yeah.
is, you know what I mean, um, like I said last time, what's scalping for you? Is it like a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours? So I think we're gonna move on into like a mid-term
Mm.
trading. I think there's a lot of opportunities on range trading. Um, but it's just fast, and with AI we could do the things with that. So anyway.
One of the things that I ran into when I was investigating, there's a TradingView MCP, I think it is. I still
Yep.
not fully uploaded. Anyway, um, they can place trades for you on Kraken. They can link Kraken up as well, but
Yeah, but
they they
I
can't
wouldn't.
execute without your
Yeah,
permission. And it's
I
like
wouldn't do.
Claude has got all these things about I can't make financial decisions for you. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of
What I what I what I do, if anyone's interesting, I wouldn't use the MCP to trading view to trade at all. Very unstable. You can't track stuff. Because an MCP is just a protocol, right? And TradingView doesn't have one per se. It's not an authorized one or whatever, right?
Mhm.
So the best bet is to actually create your own sort of little Python script in where you could connect your exchange and execute using that securely. Period. You know what I mean? You can use the TradingView to make decisions, but then you can use the AI to actually execute for you. But I wouldn't do it through TradingView, man. Like
Yeah.
it's very if TradingView by itself trading like on charts sometimes disconnects and you have to it gets messy.
Mm.
Uh with the MCP is going to be fucking horrible. So I wouldn't go down that route. To be
For
honest.
sure. I mean, I was playing around with if you look here, right, I've got three lines and three pieces of text. So if I told you cumulatively I fucked around for about 16 hours and then finally I was like, well, this is about what it's good for. It can add
Uh-huh.
stuff to a watch list and it can do, but it can change the time schedule, but it can't recognize that Maurizio has got a little kangaroo and the other thing's a mushroom, if you know. It can't recognize that, if you know what I mean. Like it can't, you know. I mean,
Yet.
it's a good technology, but it feels like an early
Yeah.
iPhone, you know. It's kind of like, look, this is where we're going. You can get on board now, if you know what I mean. So one
Yeah.
thing I do like to do with the AI is I can just say to it, come to TradingView and mark up these levels. And I know that's absurdly lazy, if you know what I mean. It can't do diagonal lines, it can't draw yada 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 yada. So it's not worth the juice at the moment unless you've got these bigger plans and you've got a superior knowledge of how all these things connect together. Because the people haven't come here to listen to all this waffle, right? But we were talking about this before we come on air, right? And I thought about this thing as well. And what it is, you cannot outsource decisions to the AI. Maybe if you've got military grade AI, maybe
Mhm.
that can make some, I don't know if you know what I mean, but just generally speaking, you can't outsource. So if you say to Claude, should I take a trade on this? He'll go, well, who are you and what is this trade? And I don't even know who you are. This is a new conversation for me. And yeah, I mean, it's an interesting landscape, man. It's an interesting
Mhm.
landscape now because everybody thinks that that's a pejorative, everybody, if you know what I mean. Everybody thinks they're an expert now. Everybody thinks that Claude is just like, there you go, man. Feed this Claude, eat this. But Claude won't make decisions. It can get information, it can get infinite information,
Mhm.
but it won't pull that trigger. And there is still a role for the human with the AI that is so fucking imperative because you're just dealing with a dumb thing. that has to be programmed, you know?
I know it's you know sometimes it's yeah, obviously just ramble for 4 minutes. So sometimes I see the capabilities. Obviously, Claude and for me, it's the best model, Opus. But it's how you feed it in and how you actually, what type of information that you give it in order to make decisions, right?
Mm,
Sometimes I'm amazed. Like I have days that fuck man, it's great, and I have days that this fucking thing is dumb ass. You know what I mean? Like in terms of so you have those up and downs, and you're talking with a very very smart model. So
mm,
still, obviously for coding for that thing is fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Like it's amazing. Making decisions is an interesting thing. So yeah, I think I'm keep playing with it. I've been playing for the past
mm,
2 years with AI Man already, so I've used it extensively. But for now, making decisions is still a little bit
mm,
there
mm,
yet, especially in trading, right? And I did explain before. One thing is AI trading, and one thing is algorithmic trading. There's two fucking different things, and
mm,
people
mm.
don't realize that.
Let's
That
talk about the differences. What, because
all
I
right,
couldn't spit out an immediate, this is my definition.
okay, check this out. An algorithm trading, which is basically what we've been doing for ages with FinRep, with everything, is just an algo, a program that runs, right, and does decision based on certain rules. Let's say when the fucking price moves up, the average just buy and do this and then manage my positions. That's it. That's a
Mm,
behavioral thing that is pre-programmed, right?
hmm
AI trading is the brains that say, oh shit, this average doesn't work, let's change it. Oh shit, this doesn't work, let's change it. But you know, making those decisions is tough. You know what I mean? It's like
mm,
that's a different kettle of fish. There are not many systems AI based right now, to be honest.
mm,
85% of all the shit that is out there, they claim is AI, but it's an algo it's an algo, right? You know what I mean? Like,
mm,
you could use AI to create algos. That's another behavior. You can work with AI and say, let's do this, let's do this, let's do back testing, let's do this, let's do a quant analysis, let's do a neutral strategy, batch it,
mm, mm,
whatever. And then you implement that code and basically it runs, right? But a real AI is the one that actually makes decisions on the spot, right?
mm,
Changes the code every time. Every single trade will be different, or you know what I mean? Like, so that's the main
mm,
difference, you know? So it's huge from that perspective when you understand the when you
mm,
understand how you do algorithmic trading and how easy it is to just pre-program a bot to do stuff. That's not
mm,
AI trading. Yes, you use AI to create bots or to create algos or to
mm,
create
mm, mm,
code or to create whatever.
mm.
But, you know, would you be like that gap is people playing with it still, you know what I mean, making real AI shit, but then just understand that differentiation, right?
Yeah,
So
that is
yeah.
interesting because in doing, say, the discretionary trading, you can use Claude as this hard-working assistant and have it scan trading view. It follows a set of instructions. It can usually do that very well. So it could reduce your either research cost in time or money so that you
Mm,
get your data quicker. But effectively, you would have to know how to filter the right fucking data, which is an
mm,
immediate seg to if we look at the Pengu CVD chart, we see that the real buyers are leaving. And it's like, well, how much more qualification do we need from the AI here? You know, we can see price doing this, we can see open interest doing this, and we can see
yeah,
CVD going, you know. So it's like you'd think that's an easy decision. But to tell an AI or an algorithm to translate that is like, whoa, you know,
yeah.
whoa.
And think about the amount of data that you need to provide. So obviously do you really think that just by looking at the chart, right, and the patterns of a chart, the AI has enough information, right?
No
If
chance.
you go, if you go, I can show you really good shit, man. If you want next week, I can show you really advanced data that you can actually use. However, in terms of orders, sticks, CVD,
Mm,
that's the CVD volume basically is just a summary. But I look at other things that I don't want to get into it because they're going to be really complicated, and you can use the where the market, where the orders are, all that sort of stuff, like which basically is
mm,
order flow, and that changes like on a milliseconds by milliseconds. You know what I mean? Like, so obviously we just trying to get position uh for the long term, but it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things
mm.
that with AI it is interesting, right? Like it helps you out filtering information. It does help you out looking at what's doing what, and at the end of the
Well,
day,
it does. And I mean, if you
yeah,
trade VVV and you use VVV, then the trade pays for your subscription. And it's like, hang on a minute, this is operating in a new world now. And then you think, well, real world assets are coming. Great. No more subscriptions. I trade their token, and then that pays for your subscriptions with profit. Lovely.
Did you use it?
Yeah, yeah,
Did you
I've
use
had
it
a little
already?
play with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's
It's
good.
I must admit though that the Grok Imagine has come
Yeah.
on like unbelievable, and they've got an agentic thing with it now. But not to sidetrack it too much, to try and land the plane a little bit gently, and then hand over to you, right?
Yeah,
Where I find the AI helps me with trading is my paperwork and my administration, because I
yeah,
know how to do that stuff. I just don't enjoy doing it. So that can be the stuff that slips. So with the AI, I just talk to it and I'm just like, well, this is it. This is the route. And it
yeah.
keeps me on
It
track. And,
helps. Yeah.
and
Oh
that's a
yeah.
good way that I can get, instead of wandering on a task for an hour, I can just get a task done with it, and that's
Oh
a
yeah.
more simple approach to AI. So, well, shall we talk
Anyway,
about
let's
the
shall we talk
Bitcoin?
about it? So how
Yeah,
you guys doing anyway? Sorry that we've been rambling, but it's part of life now, right? I think
it,
if
if
you
you
know,
don't want
we,
any AI chat, then just say
yeah,
no
yeah, let
more
us
AI
know,
chat,
and
just
then
Maurizio and
we'll
just the charts, and we'll keep it under stick.
yeah,
We've
but
tried to
this is
set
like
we've tried to
this.
set the table out that it's not a miracle.
And it's new technology, and obviously if new models comes out, like Rock, all that sort of stuff that you can use wonders with it. And yeah, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to use it for trading. And like, did I find it? Not yet, but it gives me a really good edge to find um narratives. I think the narrative finding is good. You know what I mean? Like, to try to find narratives. And then you start figuring out your spaghetti charts and all that crap. So anyhow, how you guys doing? Yeah, let us know if you do want to know a little bit more about it, or if you just want to jump into how the market is doing, and then we just go for it. So how do you guys feel about crypto before I start? Marlon, I know it's hard even to get a job without an AI component. It's gonna get tougher, I think. Very tough. Yeah, especially for early entries. For junior roles and things like that. You're competing against AI, right? So yeah, I have mixed feelings in terms of that on the future. So it's interesting. Fuck AI. There we go, Todd. Let's jump into it. All right. What do you guys feel about Bitcoin? All right, let's jump into it. Let's me share my screen. All right, do you guys see my screen now?
Yes, we do.
Awesome. All right. So, give me your thoughts in terms of Bitcoin. Is this going to be, because we're running into a very important level there. What do you guys think? Um, What are your thoughts just before I start giving you mine? Just want to hear yours. Yep. Todd, trying to break that. Marlon, I'm gonna touch about a little bit of that today. Uh, Ian, Adam, you like it, right? Train up seems like okay. All right, so let's try to figure this one out. All right, so Bitcoin, right? Let's start with the weekly, okay? So that's the main thing. Okay, weekly perspective is looking very good. We have this level here, which is the 80, and I think a lot of traders, a lot of institutions, a lot of people are looking at that level as because this level, if you think about, I was talking about it on Friday. So this level, from the weekly perspective, it looks bearish. This is a bearish pattern. Would you agree or would you disagree? So exactly. So from the weekly, right? Let me just bring my chart here. Where's my brush? Okay. So from the weekly perspective, we start this bearish condition here. We have a lower high, and we're setting up a lower high right there. Okay, this is a potential huge short, right? For people for the bearish, right? For people that are looking to short this thing. This is a great setup. Would you agree? And let me give you the brain fuck right here. Let me invert the scale. Now we're inverting the scale here. What do you guys see here? Right? So I'm inverting this. So now do you see the same bullish pattern or do you see what do you see? Exactly, Todd. See? Exactly. Exactly. So now I want to buy it. It looks an amazing pattern to the upside, right? But remember that we're inverting the scale. So your brain works differently, believe it or not, when you invert the scale. Even though you think, oh no, I can handle shorts, when you invert this thing, you're gonna see a different picture. Your brain changes things. I haven't. Anyway, there are a lot of exercises that you can use to flip easier. Anyway, let's come back to this. So from that perspective, this is a fucking good setup, right? Would you agree? Like this could do something like that from that perspective. Okay, right? So another setup is this thing comes back down right here, which is the 84 level, the one that I've been, and then bounce out to things like this. All right. Or we can actually range. Those are my three options right now. Okay. How heavy am I to each one of them? I want to hear your thoughts. So we have option one. Let me just bring back now to the real chart. See how different it fucking looks, man? This is interesting. Anyway, all right, we got option one. Just delete all this stuff. All right, option one, market goes something a little bit like this, or even here, right at that level, and it starts bringing back down. How many of you think this is going to happen? So Donna, option one, yeah, how heavy you are on this option? What is the probabilities of this happening in your view? 754. Okay, seven this one. All right. 50-50. Trump, of course. Always Trump. 50-50. Okay, so you're 50-50 here. Now, what are the chances of now this one rip in here and do that? That's option two. Now we take that out, we take this 84 as a breaker, and then we'll have continuation towards the, like longer. And this is the weekly, by the way, right? And then we'll leave the drawings there and we'll bring it up back. All right, so Jim says 20%, so this is the lowest percentage. Yeah, that's an option. That's why I draw it here, because that's another point of huge resistance. Bear in mind that this level here, the 92 area, give or take, that was last year, the close of last year. That's gonna be huge, 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 1, 2. All right, so total is 10% goes to the downside, so 10% here, right? And you are in the upside, so technically you're bullish. And 50-50 stay sideways. Okay. All right. What am I? It's 70-30. All right, 70. So you are 70 towards the upside, so you're bullish, right? Let me get that straight. All right, sweet. So total is 70%. All right, let's see. Let's see. Where am I at the moment? Okay. I have mixed feelings. Let me tell you why. So these are the the options, right? Now, in terms of ranging, we can range here or we can range up here. We have two levels of ranges that we haven't, that we have probabilities, right? If I bring this back to daily, right? Let's see if this works better. Okay. Now from the daily perspective, you can definitely see that 80 is a huge, huge, huge resistance level. It needs, even now, it starts to drop, right? So there is a lot of shorts piling up here. That's a really interesting short setup. If I go even like, if I zoom this, right? This is interesting to me, like that this is the same thing. Remember when I tell you guys the psychology of front running levels? And front running levels is the demand for a level to do some behavior, right? So on a bullish pattern, right? That's how bullish patterns form, right? For instance, here, people don't want to wait until this level hits because they want to buy. They sort of want that demand there. Therefore, you have that bullish pattern, right? Same thing with bearish pattern, right? People start taking profits early, therefore, or shorts early, right? So the thing that I'm sort of conflicted about is this three drive pattern right here. Okay, so obviously this candle hasn't closed, right? The daily hasn't closed. This is I wouldn't trust this one much, to be honest, because this is the Monday, right? This is a Monday or Sunday, technically Sunday close, right? This one is the actual Monday, as you can actually see, and this one is the actual Wednesday. So I really like this one here. So this is going to be the baseline, but the fact that this happened on out of liquid days is kind of interesting, right? So from that perspective, I'm bearish. But now let's try to figure out if this level is going to hold or this is going to break at the end of the day, right? Would I go to any longs right here, preempting the breakout, or any shorts? Um, Let me just give me 1 second. Let me just share the activity. 1 second. Probably go to screen. Where is it? All right, here. All right. Okay. There you go. Interesting. Now we start getting this little sell-off, right? And this has been interesting. It's been happening for the last Mondays, if you guys were here. Last Monday actually happened later, right? And that's what I mean in terms of weekend liquidity, right? Like if it's not enough buyers. However, things that I like and things that I don't like. Okay. Things that I don't like is I'm start seeing CBD coming off heavily. Not heavily, but bear in mind that this is liquidity, this is weekend liquidity. Okay. So this is retail traders technically closing positions. But I'm starting to see a lot of demand to get shorts squeezed out, right? You can actually see liquidations to the upside right there, right there, right there, right there. Now, this could be, this could definitely be, not definitely, it's not, sorry about that word. Uh, this could be, a lot of shorts being piling up here. Why? This is a short setup, man. Like it is a short setup. Uh, I do like the fact that we do have a lot of accumulation on CBD volume here, longer term and small time frames, right? So if we hold this massive influx of CBD, which is happening around here, so what I want to point out is where are the main buyers buying? Right here and right here. Okay. So if you add those levels, so we have that level there. So if you draw a line right there, just for reference, that's one level there. And this is the other level right here. You would take probably around here. I will draw it right there, right? And you see, if you want to scalp, this is for you, Todd. I think you're gonna love this. If you start seeing CBD influx coming through, and then you see a level that that level of influx that respects, usually you get bounces of that level. How much the bounce is going to be, I have no fucking clue, but you get bounces. Okay, so that's very short time frame trading, right? And so those are the levels that I'm thinking that if we do get that sweep, right? What I mean by sweep, something like this could be really good setup. And if we actually see volume coming through, then we might feel that breakout to 80. So I'm a little bit inclined towards the upside, to be honest, based on CBD volume. That's it. You know what I mean? That's it. You can use software like Kiyotaka or stuff like that to actually see how many orders are up here. But that's another thing because there's a lot of shorts piling up around here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at the moment in order to actually start opening more positions. If so, option number one, do I get that type of setup? Like we get a sweep, we get influx coming through. That's gonna fuel the shorts and because if you're short here, think about it. You're gonna put the stop. Let's think about that. All right, let me just delete all these fucking things. All right, let's assume you short the market right now. Where do you think is a sensible way to put a stop? Let's short the market. Let's go short. Market is going to ship. Everything's happy days. Where do you think you're gonna place the stop? 8-ish, yes. Give me an ish number. 82, 84, 86, 84, 90. Marlon says 81, 82. Yes, which lines up with this EMA. Yeah, that's reasonable. 2, all right. Yeah, 82. Yeah, right. I completely agree, right? That's the reasonable one. So I think we still have this gap that if we go long, we need to be very careful and take profits early if we hit the 84, because that could be a sweep to the downside, right? We still have that sort of sweep of all the shorts and then it starts coming back down. A lot of heavy shorts could actually start piling up at this level here, which is an 84 level. So we still have that gap that it could actually play out, right? So if we want to front run this thing, right, which I'm inclined to do it, right? It's going to be very risky. Then that's going to be the real like test, right? If we are actually able to break the 84, because that will basically reclaim the trend again towards the upside. That's basically what I'm waiting for. Okay, so obviously it could catch us here, but based on CVD volume, that's what I'm watching, right? That's basically what I'm watching. Now, the interesting thing is how alts are playing out, right? If I look at Ethereum, so Ethereum is still, let me just bring this back. Let me just delete that trade that I was going to take a while. All right. So Ethereum still looks good. Like this is kind of the breakout area, but still we have to fill that gap right there. So everything has to fill that gap, right? In terms of majors. And if we fill that gap, the question that we have to remind to ask ourselves is, are going to be buyers at 84? We don't know. Simple. We don't know if that's going to trigger buyers or trigger all these people that actually went here, trigger profits out. So the plan is, if we start taking longs, take profits, move a stop loss, like what we have done with Tau, what we have done with Pengu. I'm still with Ina, right? Still playing the mean reversion, which is the high risk. Therefore, I'm not going like risk wise, still low. Still trading, right? That's kind of the plan, right? If we get a stopped out, we get a stopped out. Should I short here? I'm tempted. I'm tempted to short, right? But based on the CVD volume, still, I'm not. Like what it needs to happen for me to short? Two things. One, if we start, obviously it's going to be a late entry, but if we start seeing this area right here, losing this area here and massive amount of CVD volume coming through, dropping, then yeah, I might think about shorting, right? But I'm still sort of bullish, at least towards that 84 level, you know. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at in terms of Bitcoin. Okay, so yeah, these levels here get really iffy to trade. So, but with that being said, if we do break it, there's going to be a lot of shorts that are get liquidated, and this kind of it could actually fill that gap quickly. So this will happen quickly. So it will be really hard to get position on that gap if it happens. You know what I mean? Like you need to probably trade on the 15 minutes or something like that to track it. So that's kind of the influx. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment with the big picture. Now let me just show you some, 1 second. Todd, that's really great. Yeah, was gonna touch on that. So there's a lot of stuff happening this week in terms of economics that could fuel that could bring the market to either direction, right? And obviously, risk assets will follow. In terms of macro stuff, there was like all S&P 500 has been driven by tech stuff, Google, Apple, Tesla, all that sort of stuff that are going up. So all the big caps on the S&P 500 are doing great. Therefore, this is doing great. S&P 500 is actually ripping and it's all-time highs. Look at the week. Look at the weekly. This thing is, it's either non-stop or is ready to pull back, right? So But it's interesting because obviously a lot of this is what fuels the market, right? People short in, and then obviously market keeps going up, and then uh, and this is when it gets tough to trade, man. Because you get the formal feeling, then you're gonna miss the market. So think about it from from funds, right, or from institutional traders. That if this keeps ripping and they're not in, then they're not doing their job in a way, right? It's tough, man. VIX is like technically from that perspective, I, unless we get really bad news on economic data this week, then I'm still seeing that the S&P 500 is holding up. However, any bad news could trigger profit taking. Period. Any sort of bad news will do that. But until then, it looks good. It looks good. The Russell, which is the risk asset side of thing, looks fantastic, right? Uh, all markets are not that great. The London market is okayish. Uh, Germany is okayish. The Japan is actually doing okay. So we sort of, okay trend. What I don't like is how oil is behaving. Okay, we did talk about that. And it broke above the 100, and now it's actually over 100, and still over 100. That's pretty high. Um, I wanna see a little bit more consolidation prior to the 100 to actually say, all right, we're in confident mode right now. However, um, so IBIT is, it filled that gap. This is very telling. So I think we could have a chance of that breakout if IBIT is not selling on spot CBD is not selling. Uh, this could be an interesting gap to fill, and Bitcoin will definitely have its moment a little bit, towards the 84 sort of thing. So yeah, mixed feelings, but I would say 60% leaning towards the bullish case, kind of, right? I'm still open for the shorts, to be honest, but for what I'm seeing on Fridays, for what I'm seeing over the weekend, uh, I think we do have a little bit more push. The market is being sustained, right? So with that being said, what are the stuff that I'm looking at? All right, let's go through Pengu. So Pengu was still there. We took some profits. Now I'm thinking of adding more, but this is this is something that to for you guys to think about. If I'm still thinking to add more, but you could actually risk the profits that you make, put the stop loss, all the stop losses here. So obviously, if this turns back down, then you could just lose what you earn, the profit that we made, no problem. Uh, but if it works, then you sort of double down your profits, and then this is basically the next level to think about, which is the 1380, where I should take more other top profit, leave some chunk on the table as well, and then we'll do the same move if we have that sort of break towards the upside. So it looks like Pengu, if we look at the meme sector, let me just reload this thing.
A
Second.
very, very quick one on the Pengu, Maurizio, about putting
Yep.
more money on that trade, right?
Yep.
Why does that feel different to me? Like that feels like I don't know. I feel resistant to that. Almost like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's odd. I just wanted to bring that up. I felt odd when you were talking about that putting more on. I'm thinking, well, we've had a win, the market's not looking so good, you know?
I know, I know, I know,
Mm.
I know. And here's why I feel so, because we're still trading on a mean reversion trade. It will
Mm.
be easier decision when we go on a trending environment, but we against the trend. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So that's why it's riskier from that perspective. Okay. But those are the risk plays that will play out in a way, right? You could think about from the perspective of risk. Okay, let's say that we took this trade, you risk $1,000, from here to here, right? We took 50% off, so we make 500, sorry, 250, right, out of this one. But we have no risk. We have now our stop loss here. Okay, so you take those 250, and then now you create a new trade, right, from here to here, right?
Hmm.
And now you're sort of doubling into this one. Why? But the risk is still low. That's why I'm only doing profits, right? Because if I lost, like if this breaks this level here, probably I'll just wait a little bit until I enter, right?
Hmm.
And then if it works out, it works out. You know what I mean? Like in terms of risk reward ratio, this one has a huge potential towards the upside.
Hmm.
So that's in terms of
I
risk.
get
You know
it.
how much are
So
you
we've
risking?
we've eliminated the risk for the fact that we are already at break even. Now we potentially could jeopardize the profits that we've made. Okay. But when these things hit, they tend to hit big. So
Exactly.
however many times we end up at break even, when we do hit, we'll probably hit 3R, 4R. Okay, to make up for it from there.
which
Yeah.
which psychologically speaking is hard, all right, because
Mm.
think about it from the perspective that now let's say let's think about let's go through the psychology of this. Let's imagine that this trade doesn't work out, all right, whatever,
Hmm.
then you are at no profits. Let's say that the next trade that you take, it doesn't work out, now you're in a loss.
Hmm.
Let's say the next trade that you work out, it doesn't work out, and you're in another loss. Okay, so this is easier said than done when you have, because you're limiting your risk at break even.
Mm.
But if the next trade don't work, it's going to fuck up with your mind, with your head. You know what I mean? Like, so
It will. So I'm just conscious of the
yeah,
time. Could I ask you a question, right, about risk to
sure,
reward? This is slightly nuanced. We have our
yeah,
risk to reward when we put our trade on that's generated by our stop loss and everything, okay? Now, the risk to reward I'm looking at is some kind of measurement for how many trials we have to have with this trade. Like your language was, if it works, it works. And I thought, that's kind of the definition of speculative. So I'd call this a speculative trade from
mm-hmm,
there. But in poker, I can count my outs and shit like that. So I can be speculative, but I can have an idea where I stand. You know,
exactly,
even though the
yeah,
trials I might lose 20 times, I know over time that this scenario is 4-1.
yeah.
But here, how could I assess that? Or do I just have to be like, it's speculative?
No, it is speculative, but we're doing an analysis of probabilities in terms of why do we think that the market is going up. We're not doing a decision in terms of, oh, let's fucking risk. No, we are, first of all, we took this trade, it's working, it's holding. Market looks like 60% chance that Bitcoin is going to break that 80. Number two. Number
Mhm.
three, right? This is one of the ones that are leading the market in terms of memes and stuff like that. And Todd put something that I mentioned last week. Pengu is NFT, is a meme, is a interesting, and is leading the boat. So you are not like, I wouldn't do this with fucking, I don't know, BCH
Ricardio.
or retard. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this is some, or
Mm.
same thing with Tau. I'll do the same thing with Tau, right? But we need to wait for the right moment to do it. It's not like, oh, let's fucking do it now. That's why since last week I was fucking tempted to do it, and I didn't
Mm.
do it. I'm just still waiting, right? Can I
Mm.
miss the boat? Yes. Can I? Can I fuck it up and I actually, add more and then I get, yeah, that's also a
Mm.
chance. It's a probability. But I'm just adding the probabilities of that happening. Same thing with trading. How do you take the
Mm.
trade,
Mm.
right? So
Mm.
don't be one of the main problems, and this have been like more of the like right trends.
Mhm.
And these things rarely happen, but when it happens, it's actually payouts pretty much the bills. that's it. You know what I mean? Like you could, it's like a really low risk, like win rate in a way. If you
Mm.
like win rates, I know people are crazy for win rates, which are in my mind, win rates are stupid. Yes, the stupid or not depends on how you trade it. But the win rate of this is like 20%. But when you start adding and exposing your risk or the profits that you make only, and you start getting paid, that's when you say, fuck, man, this is a great trade. You know what I mean? Same thing with Tau. Let's talk about Tau because I missed Tau in a way. So we took Tau here, took some profits here, took some profits here. I haven't added more yet. I was going to add more on Friday, but obviously this happened over the weekend. I'm still thinking about adding more. Same premises. You could risk 50% of the stuff. Look at this trade, man. This trade gave us probably it's not gonna it didn't give us a whole 10R or one trade because we took profits along the way, but I didn't add more. If I added more here, which I should have, but anyway, this is a retrospective, then that would be a different story. You know what I mean? Like in one trade, you can actually make the whole year, kind of, if you
Oh
size
yeah,
properly.
that is
You know what I
wonderful.
mean?
Thanks, man. I'm sorry, we've only got 3 minutes now, but thank you so
All
much
right.
for that explainer.
No worries, guys. So I'll see you tomorrow. Nothing much that I'm watching. Obviously, the same things that I'm watching on Friday are the same things that I'm watching today. So watch the video on Friday. It's a little bit longer, and we'll see how it goes today. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Maurizio. Thank you,
All right,
everybody.
guys. Have a good
Ta-da.
one. Bye bye.